Howdy, welcome to my month 23 update. And today we're going to talk about how I gained 3 pounds in 3 days. It's called sugar. I learned how to make cake pops, and they're just so cute, and I'll show you guys a picture. But yeah, I had a weekend where I had tons of stuff going on, like a barbecue, a birthday party, a church event. So by the end of it all, I had gained 3 pounds. And if you do the math on that, I was thinking, each pound is approximately 3,500 calories. So that would be in excess of 10,500 calories. And I was like, I don't really remember having that much fun eating. But then I kind of started to recall some of the things, some of my choices that I made. It had been nearly 2 years since I ate a hamburger, cheeseburger, whatever, from a fast food restaurant. And I really was craving one. So I went to Wendy's and I got, I believe it's called a grilled chicken Asiago something or other. And I thought, well, it can't be that bad. It's just a chicken sandwich. The next day, me and some friends and my boyfriend went out to Applebee's, and we weren't very hungry because we'd been eating all day, jumping around from different events. So he and I split the appetizer sampler. The next day, we went to Mongolian barbecue, which seems to be healthy choices, because you kind of make your own food. And I also stopped in at the Chinese buffet and had some sushi. So I had like a food-filled weekend. This was 2 weeks ago. So then during the aftermath, I kind of sat down to see, like, what in the world's going on? Did I really eat that much? And I was just astounded at the amount of calories that fast food and restaurants have in their food. For instance, the Asiago chicken sandwich from Wendy's has 660 calories, 34 grams of fat, and 55 carbs. And it was good, but it's definitely not worth half a day's worth of food. The Applebee's sampler, hold on to your seats or sit down if you're not. It has 2,510 calories, 168 grams of fat, and 183 carbs. That's insane. It's just an appetizer sampler because, when people go, they order a sampler and then they get the food and then sometimes they get the dessert. So it's like, my boyfriend and I split that, but in that one little meal where I just ate what felt like a couple bites of food, I had 1,255 calories. So in one small little meal, because I ate at a restaurant, I had an entire day's worth of food pretty much. I don't know how to calculate what I ate at the Chinese buffet. Mainly I get sushi, so it's not completely damaging. Same thing for Mongolian barbecue. I didn't eat a whole lot, but I imagine that their sauces probably pack in a lot of calories. So with that said, I just think that eating out and eating fast food and all that stuff, to me, isn't worth it. So I'm not freaking out over the couple pounds that I gained. I've actually lost 2 of it, so now I'm up to like 152, 153, and I've been maintaining at 151 for quite a while. So I watched a video of Banded Wendy's the other day, and she was saying how, maintenance can be kind of boring. And she had gained 4 pounds recently, but she doesn't want to chase that 4 pounds up and down and up and down. So I'm not going to chase it and freak out about it, but I'm just going to, be mindful of these things and realize that, that's how people relapse and that's how people gain weight is, these little decisions here and there that they don't seem like much, eating out with friends or eating a piece of cake or eating a random sandwich from a fast food restaurant, but it really adds up. What else did I want to say? Oh, I learned how to make cake pops, and they're so cute. And to be honest, I didn't eat a whole lot of them. The problem is when I'm cooking cake, I generally will lick the bowl when it's empty. I will lick the spoon when I'm done scooping, and I also will lick the beaters because I like the cake batter. And then the same thing when I'm dipping them, I melt down chocolate and I dip them, and then I stick them in the freezer so they can dry or harden. But when I switch from one color to the next, I lick the spoon, put it in the sink, grab another spoon, but I am not accounting for the fact that when I lick that spoon, there's probably like at least 100 calories on that, lick that I'm giving it. So that's one thing I have to watch out for. I already know myself. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm rambling because I make videos like once a month now, so like I always feel like I don't have anything to say, and then once I get talking, I have so many things to say. I don't trust myself to make red velvet cake by myself, so I've told my boyfriend, come in the kitchen with me while I'm making it, because I know I'll set aside like a significant amount of dough for me to eat. And I know that sounds disgusting, but it just kind of like calls my name. So I don't make that alone in the kitchen. The other part of it, I have a hard time rinsing off the spoon when there's something on it. So when when I need to rinse off like the dough or the leftover chocolate when I'm switching from one color to the next, rather than licking it before I rinse it, I just need to rinse it. But there's that small part of me that feels bad wasting it, but that's silly because, you know, I need to think of what it's doing to my health. And now for the title of this video, that sugar is a drug. When I started eating all this food again, I just started feeling literally crazy. Like I used to have really bad anxiety, and I actually spent quite a bit of time working on it, so I wouldn't have, you know, racing thoughts, insomnia, you know, blah, 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 everything that comes along with excessive worrying, everything that comes along with anxiety. I worked really hard to make it go away. And I didn't realize until after I went 6 months without eating these type of foods when I first got surgery, is that the food that you eat has a huge, huge impact on the way that you think and the way that you feel. Because the minute I add these foods back in, it's just like one that flew over the cuckoo's nest or whatever that's called, because I just get all these crazy racing thoughts again. And when I eat healthy, I don't crave any of these things. The minute I add them back to my diet, I just start craving them like a mad woman, and it's really scary. It's a really scary thing. But it's like, the reason I explain it like a drug is because it's almost like, you know, when someone's been, let's say that you've been sober for a long time, and then you use and you get that initial like rush and buzz and high, and then when you come down, they want it again, you know. And it's just like that with me and sugar, and I know that's for a lot of people, but I didn't really realize it before because I never had like a quote unquote sober period, because I was constantly eating those things. So now it's just, when I go through things like this and I see, man, what an impact these type of foods really have on our physical body, that there is a physical component to food addiction. And when before I really thought it was mainly like an emotional struggle, now I see that there's a huge physical component as well. I'm not pushing myself right now to drop those couple pounds that I gained. I don't know. I don't, you know, like Banded Wendy said, I don't want to like chase these pounds back and forth, back and forth. I do have to have some sort of a limit, you know, of where I'm going to, if I do gain a couple pounds, that, you know, I can't like every couple months gain a couple pounds, because after a couple years, you know, it's like you gain back 20, 30 pounds, and that's not what I want. But as of right now, I'm not freaking out about it. It does mess with me a little bit mentally, even though I'm still wearing all the same size clothes and I don't think I look any different. When I go to put my pants on, and this was even before the 3-pound gain. Actually, I'm not even doing it right now, but previously for like a couple months, every time I would put my pants on, my jeans, I just had like this overwhelming fear that they weren't going to fit. I don't know, it's just the strangest thing, and I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but every day I would get up and put my jeans on and have this overwhelming fear that they're not going to fit. I don't know why. It's just strange, and it just popped up out of nowhere, but it's actually kind of away a little bit. Except for today when I put on the shirt, it was the same thing. I just had this like overwhelming fear that it wasn't going to fit. And it fit fine, but I don't know. It's kind of like some of those old feelings being stirred up from before when I was fat or something. What else? Oh, how long have I been talking? I have tons and tons and tons and tons of clothes, because, you know, like when you're losing weight, you're totally excited, like, oh my God, I can wear a 10, oh my God, an 8, a 6, a 4. So you get really excited and you buy clothes, you know, coming down. So I have like this huge overstock of clothes that I finally went through and got in a pile so I can like do a garage sale or donate them or whatever I end up doing with them. But a lot of the clothes that are in my size, which generally 4, 6, and 8 fit me the most, or fit me the best, I should say, depending on the brand. But I had a lot of things in that size that kind of accentuated what my boyfriend calls my circumstance, and that would be my excess skin. Certain clothing, when I put it on, it kind of pushes my excess skin up and over the edge of my pants. And that's not a very good feeling. It's almost like, you know, when I was fat before and clothes didn't fit, you know, you almost get that bad feeling about yourself again when you have the excess skin hanging over the edges. So when my boyfriend and I were going through the clothes, I actually got really emotional and I started crying because I felt bad. back to what I said before, like what I did to my body. It doesn't mean that I'm all like, depressed or hating myself or anything, but, moments here and there it'll hit me and it bothers me what I did, because even if I were to have, if I were to work out every single day and have plastic surgery or reconstructive surgery, I should say, my body still will never be where it could have been if I never did to myself what I did with the food. So sometimes it's kind of frustrating. But anyways, my boyfriend told me, get rid of all the clothes that don't make you feel good about yourself. Stop giving yourself a constant reminder about the excess skin. So that's what I did. And even though it was hard to part with some of the stuff, even because it was in my size and it's like, no, I don't want to get rid of it. But, I had to set it all aside, because I don't want to be reminded when I put on a pair of pants that, oh, look what I did to myself. I want to put on clothes that make me feel good about myself. So I guess that's all with that. One more thing I wanted to say was, like, a part of me didn't want to make this video talking about that I gained a couple pounds. But I have to realize that, like, one, this helps me to come on here, and I know that it's when we stumble or when we fall that we learn more. If we do everything right, sometimes we don't learn as much as we do if we mess up along the way. So it's definitely a learning experience. And two, to let other people know out there, like, it's normal to, like I said, relapse, fall down, and you just got to get back on track. And I said this in my last video, I think, is like, you can't always be putting it off like, oh, after this barbecue or after this baby shower or after the 4th of July, because there's always going to be some event where people are eating and there's bad food, and there's always going to be some opportunity to eat cake and fast food and all these other things. So you just have to make it a choice that it's your daily life. I'm going to slowly transition back into that and go back to what I would call eating clean, eating natural things, fruits, vegetables, all that sort of stuff. So, anywho, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.